mainit na balitang kapapasok lang. Labing-walong minutong English pre-recorded conference ng Hamas nag-leak. Ang video ay patungkol sa kanilang istorya sa pag-atake sa Israel. Video na naharang at naiblock sa lahat ng sanay ng media. Ngayon, atin nang mapapakinggan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Press conference on Al-Aqsa flood operation. Over 75 years, our Palestinian people have been eager to freedom and self-determination. This genuine right was obstructed by the Israeli occupation and the failure of the international community to stand by their obligation to implement the many UN resolutions that guaranteed the Palestinian national rights. Based on this, no one can deny the right of any people under the occupation to resist their occupiers by all available means, including armed resistance. Here in the Palestinian context, we are speaking about a 75-year-old occupation that neglected and ignored all political and legal means to settle the conflict, where the Israeli enemy continued their policy of denial of the Palestinian people's existence and their national rights. We have repeatedly warned during the past few months and years that the situation on the ground was not sustainable and that the explosion was about a matter of time. And we have warned repeatedly from the Israeli continued violations in Al-Aqsa Mosque and their attempt to change its status quo in an apparent plan to divide the Holy Mosque spatially and temporally. We have also warned from the state terrorism implemented by the fascist settlers across the occupied West Bank. We have warned from the forceful expulsion of our people from Jerusalem. We have also warned from the systematic crimes against our prisoners, including women and children, in Israeli jails. And lastly, we have warned from the Israeli siege imposed on Gaza for more than 17 years, which is a war crime that turned Gaza to the biggest open-air prison on earth, where a whole generation has lost all kinds of hopes. But unfortunately, no one listened to these warnings, and the international community, especially the Western countries, continued to give Israel the cover at all levels to continue committing its crimes. Based on that, we confirm the following. First, Operation Al-Aqsa Flood was a supremely defensive act. Second, the decision to launch the military operation was entirely Palestinian. Third, the operation targeted only Israeli military bases and compounds that were suffocating the people of Gaza for more than 17 years. Fourth, we here would like to stress that there were clear instructions from the top commander of Al-Qassam brigades to avoid targeting civilians or killing them, and many released videos showed how Al-Qassam fighters were keen to avoid harming civilians. Fifth, as a result of the swift collapse of the Israeli military bases and the surrender of the Israeli soldiers, chaos prevailed in the scene where civilians found themselves in the middle of the confrontations. Sixth, as for the reaction of the Western countries towards our defensive act and the Israeli criminal response, we condemn the unethical bias by the Western governments, mainly the US, where they were only seeking to demonize the Palestinian people and their struggle for freedom and dignity. Seventh, we clearly condemn the reports we have received that certain Western countries are dispatching military support to the Israeli occupation. Those countries are taking part in the Israeli aggression and killing of our people instead of seeking a resolution or contributing to ending the longest ever occupation in modern history. Eighth, for the captives and prisoners held by the resistance, we confirm here and make it clear we are fully committed to treat them in accordance with our religious values and the rules of international humanitarian law. But in the same time, we are really worried that as the Israeli aggression is everywhere in Gaza, they might be the victims to the Israeli army bombardment like our people. We all know that Israel military allows Israeli army to target captives and their captors, even if it leads to kill them, which is named the Hannibal Doctrine. Ninth, we also confirm that the file of prisoners and captures will not be open as long as the Israeli aggression on Gaza continues. 10th, on the Israeli allegations of killing civilians and beheading of babies, which were unethically and unprofessionally adopted by many Western media outlets, this is completely shame that these media outlets follow such lies and Israeli propaganda without making simple efforts to check the reality of these allegations. We firmly deny these allegations, and as we reject this media bias, we call on the media agencies to abide by the journalism code of ethics. 11th, in connection to this bias, we totally reject the racist speech by US President Joe Biden, who adopted crystal clear lies against our resistance and who blindly followed the Israeli allegations and propaganda that were refuted even by many US media. Finally, I conclude as saying again that the Palestinian people have full right to fight back until ending the Israeli occupation, where we will continue to do so until reclaiming our national goals and rights. We call upon the governments and peoples all over the world to help us against such brutal and fascist occupation. We call on all the free people around the world to shoulder their moral responsibilities towards the Palestinian just cause. And also we urge the international community to take immediate actions toward ending this Israeli aggression and to ensure reopening of the crossing in order to allow the entry of all basics and humanitarian materials into the Gaza Strip. Thank you very much.
It is no doubt that what the Israeli occupation is implementing is a scorched earth policy in their aggression on Gaza. Thousands of civilians are being killed under the rubble and rubble of their homes. In brief, they are destroying everything. Gaza is being wiped out by the fascist and the indiscriminate Israeli bombing. If we describe the situation in Gaza, could be said in one word: it is a genocide. There is no safe area for the people in Gaza to seek refuge or shelter. Every area and every building is under possible attack. Everyone is targeted and vulnerable to Israel killing, including women, children, elderly, and even disabled people and people with special needs. For difficult days in Gaza, the brutal Israeli aggression against Gaza Strip continues with all brutality and intend to commit as more crimes and massacres as they can. They are targeting residential neighborhood. They are destroying homes without giving any warning or chance for the inhabitants to leave. Not to mention the illegal and unethical closure of Gaza crossing and cutting all vital services, including water, electricity, fuel, the supply of medicines and food, as clearly stated by the Israeli leaders. The Israeli leaders are giving clear instruction to their army to carry out a genocide to more than 2 million citizens in Gaza Strip. We are facing unprecedented crimes in the modern history. They have exceeded all books of atrocious crimes, and they have torn up all the humanitarian and international law and conventions. I just want to talk about the murders and wounded people. According to the official reports either issued by the government in Gaza or international organization, according to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health in Gaza, the death toll has rising to more than 1,350, and this number is increasing from moment to moment, including 260 children and 230 women, in addition to nearly 6,000 or 7,000 wounded people as a result of the continued Israeli raids across Gaza. The occupation crimes against our Palestinian families led to kill entire families. The number of the families is more than now 25 or 27 families who are deleted from the civil records in Gaza, and all members of each family were killed together without giving them a chance to leave their homes. And I think some families, they have about 15 or 13 or 20 persons in the same building. Regarding to this catastrophe in Gaza, according to the United Nations reports, the Israeli raids have caused displacement of nearly about 300,000 people who are displaced from their homes to the schools or refugee or shelter centers in Gaza Strip. And the number is increasing because of the brutally attack on Gaza Strip everywhere. Regarding the demolishing homes, the Civil Defense Department crews are incapable of dealing with a huge amount of distress calls by people under the rubble of their destroyed homes. Large number of citizens are still under the rubble and their rubble of their homes in several areas across Gaza, but the rescue team are unable to pull them out as the Israeli aggression continues. Moreover, it is important to mention that the civil defense rescue teams lack equipment to pull out the people trapped under the rubble. As for the destroyed houses and buildings, whether completely or partial, we cannot determine it exactly at the moment because it increases every minute and every second. But I can say that more than 20,000 homes were destroyed in Gaza. The vast majority of homes were destroyed without warning, leading to wiping out entire families as mentioned above. Here we also do not forget to say that the Israeli war plans are systematically targeting the public facilities across Gaza, including the universities and also hospitals, health centers, mosques, and everything moving in Gaza. Regarding the health situation and the medical staff, the occupation forces target medical personnel and target their ambulances, preventing them from rescuing from their action in Gaza or providing assistance to citizens who request the assistance. The latest figure to indicate that 6 health personnel have been killed while on duty where their ambulances were directly hit by the Israeli occupation forces. Our hospitals have declared that they have run out of bed capacity, and the injured people are being treated while on the floor. There is several shortage, about 44% of medicine and 32% of medical equipments and 60% of laboratory supplies. Now the situation in hospitals are very catastrophic because of the lack of electricity, lack of many things. So the situation is very difficult for the staff, for the medical team to provide services. Regarding this new crime in Gaza, regarding the journalist, I'm so sorry to say that the number of the murders Palestinian journalists rose to 8 since the start of the Israeli aggression on Gaza Strip. Several press buildings and offices were also bombed by or targeted by the Israeli occupation forces. Regarding the main services in Gaza, the Israeli occupation government continue to threaten to strike any trucks or cars transporting humanitarian aid and supply to Gaza Strip, and has so far rejected all international calls and appeals to allow its entry. So-called Israeli defense ministers Yoav Gallant decided on last Monday to impose complete siege on Gaza, saying no electricity, no food, no water, no fuel. This is a clear statement that goes against all international and humanitarian laws and even beyond the basic level of human ethics. Most of Gaza Strip currently live in complete darkness as a result of the power cut, which also leads to the interruption of the water supply. The United Nations, and this is a new crime also committed by the Israeli occupation forces regarding the diplomatic and the United Nations staff. The United Nations staff were not too far from the Israeli aggression. So so far 11 UN workers from the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for the Palestinian refugees, which is called UNRWA, have been killed in the ongoing strike on the Gaza Strip since last Saturday, some of which were killed with their families. In all, Gaza is experiencing an unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe that require the immediate action from the international community, from different countries, because I said that situation in Gaza is like a big prison. Situation is very hard, very difficult. We ask all the international community, governments, organization to move and to give more attention to our people there, because the death is in every moment, destruction in every moment. So we send this appeal, this call for all people all over the world to give help and support to our people in Gaza Strip. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating channel. Lahat ng bagong balita ating ihahayag agad. Kaya kung bago ka sa aming channel, mag-like, subscribe at hit ang bell button para updated ka sa aming bagong i-upload dito sa Maskaradong Komentarista ng Pinas TV.